you formed the Herbert Wigwe Foundation, yeah?
Yes, I was the founding managing director of the Herbert Wigwe Foundation.
So at the
Herbert
time,
Onyewumbu Wigwe Foundation.
okay, what was your role? What was your major role?
So I was the managing director. So my role was basically everything from the name, the registration of the organization, the structuring of the organization, what the organization would do, how we will go about certain things, but basically bringing the founders, that is the late Dr. Herbert, he had certain passions. He was passionate about malaria eradication, prostate cancer awareness, and he loved young people. So he was obsessed with young people and wanting them to grow. So we also had a lot of mentorship and leadership programs that we did. We did a lot of sponsorships as well around mentorship and leadership and things like that. So my role was just basically, because he was a full-time banker and he had that as his focus. So my role was basically just to bring his passions, philanthropical passions to life, basically, and just make sure it's functional. He's not stressed out. He doesn't need to worry about, anything that has to do with the NGO. So the idea at that time was that when he was going to step down as the managing director, he will then focus full time on his NGO and also the university. I also was a part of the initial marketing direction of the university in selecting the name and also in leading the logo direction of the university. So that was the idea of the foundation. And honestly, I'm very grateful that, we started it when we did, because a lot of managing directors, they wait till, or a lot of maybe politicians and things like that, they tend to wait till they're no longer in that position before they start dabbling into, I would say, well, before they officially, because a lot of them, they still do philanthropical things, but it's not under like an NGO or anything. So I'm very happy that we did what we did. We started it while he was still the managing director, and it wasn't something we waited because, God's plans at the end of the day prevailed.
Mm, wow. And you've bagged home about well over 7 years of experience from that foundation.
Yes, I always tell people, I feel like I was one of the first unofficial graduates of Herbert Wigwe because the things I learned from him, oh my goodness, I don't even know. Sometimes I feel like, I had to caution myself because sometimes when I'm talking with my friends or, my younger ones and they're doing certain things, and, I have to tell myself, look, Antonia, if they don't ask you for advice, don't give it to them, because I learned so much from him. And I always have this urge to want to share this information because I think it's very rare to find someone of that status that has the time to mentor young people. And when I say also mentorship, I'm also talking about women as well, because we do see a lot of, big men, they have like a group of young boys who follow them around. They're indirectly teaching them the ropes in politics and business and things like that. But it's very rare to find women doing that for women. It's even more rare to find a man that would take that position as a father and take women under, or young ladies under his wing, not caring that we're girls. My late boss did not care that I was a woman. If he had to send me to go and pick something from the bush, he would send me to the bush. He didn't, as far as he's concerned, that was just the kind of person he was. And I'm very grateful that he gave me that opportunity because it taught me so much, so much.
I'd like you to share with us, your years of as the CEO of that foundation. What really did you take? Are you going to take away from that experience to say, okay, now you have your own NGO. This is what I want to do with that experience.
Okay, so I think one of the major things I learned while working for the late Dr. Herbert was basically you can start with anything, whatever little you have. Just don't, it's not, you think it's small, but really there are people that amount is life-changing to them. So one thing I definitely learned from him was don't wait till, oh, you have millions or hundreds of thousands or whatever it is in your bank account before you start reaching out to people. That was one of the major things I learned from him. And I think when you start, because a lot of people want to help, a lot of people have that spirit of wanting to help. They just don't know how to go about it. So the whole idea of having a charity organization is almost like an entity where people can channel, so for example, during the lockdown, there were a lot of people that wanted to help outside of Nigeria that really wanted to assist, in buying food and reaching out, especially to but unfortunately at that time, my boss's NGO wasn't taking, it wasn't taking donations, so I still had to, because they had seen the things I've been doing for him and the way I'd been managing his money and things like that concerning the NGO, there was a lot of trust, that I'd built amongst people that I didn't even know. They insisted in me collecting their money. They insisted in me, buying extra things to help distribute, so yeah, I think having an NGO, that is sort of like a channel where people that, where you can direct your interest in wanting to help people also. I think that's also another thing that I learned from him as well, is how to develop trust from the public. Whenever you're doing things, make it transparent. Just like the last event I did, I was donated, someone donated a certain amount of money to me. The person is not even from Cross River and told me to give my people. And they said it so innocently, but those little things can turn to something else. I made sure everybody that received the money was documented, their names, their phone numbers, so you can call any single one of them and they can testify that yes, so I think trust too was another thing that I picked up when you're running an NGO. There are a lot of people that have these organizations for their selfish interests, but there's still individuals that want to use it as a means to channel, to the public and help people and bless people and assist people and make things easier for people, so yeah.
How are you going to fund this foundation?
Okay, so again, I think what I said earlier, it's kind of, I want to like backtrack and,
Okay.
While I was working for him, I did build a lot of contacts. I do have a network of individuals. And as I said, at that time, he didn't want to receive any money from anybody. He was very capable of handling it himself. But then because of the way I was handling his money, I didn't even know that I was being watched. I didn't even know I was being monitored. I was just being myself. I'm generally someone, I like to consider myself as someone that is trustworthy, especially when it's not my own thing, So not knowing that people were watching me, and it was actually during that COVID that I realized, okay, people are actually watching you. I mean, I've been posting on social media for the Herbert Foundation for years. I hardly had any likes. I didn't really have that many followers at that time, but still people are watching, people are monitoring you. So to be honest with you, I do have a network of quote unquote, I'll say friends that I had met at that time who are people that like to give. Countered with the fact that generally, again, I'm someone that manages money quite well. So if you are giving something like, okay, 1 million, you might think, okay, 1 million is nothing, but maybe being a woman, or maybe it's my personality, I don't know. When I utilize that 1 million, you think the person had given me 10, so he's being able to also know, okay, these are the resources that we have. How do we channel the resources in a way that's impactful? Which is another thing I learned from him. He was very big on ensuring impact. He was so big on impact. If you want to buy something to give somebody, you have to explain to him how that thing is going to impact the family. You have to, something like mosquito nets. We used to give out thousands of mosquito nets. And in the beginning, when we were thinking about how to go about it, we just thought, is a mosquito net, like it's not going to impact anybody. But when we sat down and we thought about it deeply, this was how we had to justify it to him. The mosquito net, if it's protecting an individual, let's say it's protecting a mother or a father, that you're helping prevent malaria. And when a family member doesn't have malaria, or a father or a mother doesn't have malaria, they people that have malaria, they can't go to work, they can't take their children to school. So that's impact. So these are the ways that, he won't just tell you, oh, go and buy and give. No, like this thing you want to buy, what is the impact? So as long as something you're giving is impactful, for example, my organization, that's why I focus on skills acquisition. Skills acquisition isn't, when it comes to wanting to show I think usually when people have NGOs, they like to, or when people want to give, they like to give things that look good on pictures. Skills, you cannot really capture it in a picture. This is only something that you have to continue following on the progress of the people that you have given the opportunity to learn certain skills. But the impact is I think when it comes to assisting, helping people learn skills is for me personally, that is the highest form of impact you can give an individual and their family, which is what I am now focusing on, because I know how important it is, and I know the strength of impact that it has on the individual, on the family, on the community as a whole. So yeah.
So do you have any particular skill acquisition you want to go into?
Okay, so what we're starting with now, which is based in Obudu, I had a lot of younger ones that have been telling me that they would like to learn how to drive, and I asked them what the benefits is of driving. I knew, but I had to ask them because I'm not some, I just don't feel, oh, you just wake up one morning, say you want to drive, and then I start looking for money to, I had to ask them. So they gave me very reasonable, justifications for why they believe driving. I'd never even thought of driving as a skill, honestly. But if you think about it, it is actually a profession. I had to even do my own research and go deeper into it to find out, okay, yeah, driving is a profession. Even in Nigeria, unfortunately, there's this stigma around driving, like it's a lower class something, but really it's not like that in the rest of the world. Bolt drivers in Nigeria, even taxi drivers, they make more money than some people that work in offices, to be honest. Then you also have some of them were saying that they would like to apply to be truck drivers, to haul things, because Obudu is an area with a lot of natural resources and things like that. So there's a lot of trucks coming in and out. So some of them said they want to be taxi drivers. Some people said they just want that skill, because there's some people that have graduated from university and they believe, which is the truth. When I did my research, I found out that when you can actually drive, in some certain employers actually will prioritize you as a potential candidate. So the justification, it made a lot of sense to me, and so I started with that now, which is what is called the Prince Bassi Otu Young Professional Drivers Scheme. I named it after my governor. I don't know my governor personally, but I just want to name. So what I want to do is I just want to name it after individuals, that hopefully in the future they might like to identify with it. If they don't, it's okay. It's not by force, but that's the name. Then I'm also going into baking and pastry making. Again, some girls had said to me, they would love to learn baking, but that's going to be based in Ogoja. So the driving for now is based in Obudu. So I'm just trying to do, spread out the acquisition in different aspects of Cross River in general. So I will go into baking and pastry, which the driving, I'm hoping to launch it on the 1st of November. We've started with 5 students. So the idea is I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, we would have graduated 500 students. So I'm hoping, for 100 driver graduates a year. If it's possible, amazing. If it's not, I have to give myself that target and hope that I can achieve it. But so I'm also going into baking and pastry making. Baking and pastry making also is very important. Again, it was my younger ones. It was actually one of my male cousins that said to me he would like to learn baking. And I said, okay, why? And same thing, he gave me the reason. And I also looked into it too. Baking too is a good one. We have a lot of shops that are bake. There's always a demand for good bakers and pastry makers. And even if you don't find a job, it's something like you can start on your own. You see a lot of people that fry puff puff and put them in buckets and they hawk the streets. Nigerians generally, I would say, we're quite humble people, to be honest, because those people have money. A lot of those people, they have money with their puff puff on their meat pie. Like they're actually doing very well for themselves,
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think these skills are so important. These things are, as I said, they might not look like glamorous, but when it comes to impact, skills acquisition for me is top notch. It's top notch.
Definitely, you're not running it as a social enterprise, so it's a not-for-profit organization. Am I right?
Yes, I do have a job, a 9 to 5. I wouldn't really want to go into that because, that's not, but besides that, I'm also a farmer. So I've started the process of cocoa farming. Yes. So again, I think that would also key into empowerment because I've told a couple of the boys that very soon you guys will go to you start working on my farm. So but so that's my own. And yeah, so, but the NGO is just a passion of mine. I've always been someone that likes to give. I'm a giver naturally. So yeah, it's just an official platform, because if it's official, it's audited, it's transparent, it's open for scrutiny and all those kind of things. So it needs to be seen as something that is serious and something that is impactful. So let's see what the future holds. Is a partnership with a school already.
Right.
We have a
Okay.
partnership with a school. So
Okay.
the school fees is subsidized to a certain extent because they are hoping to get in the numbers.
Okay.
So it's sustainable. The school exists already. It's not me having to start a school from scratch or anything. It's a partnership. So it puts less pressure on me because if the funds are not available, then we don't have to So
Yeah.
that's the importance with that partnership. But again, to start with it, I had used my own funds first to start with a few students, just
Yeah.
as a sample,
Yeah.
because I cannot ask people to invest in something that, I myself
You've
have
not
not
played out.
invested in, because then it
Yeah.
looks like I don't believe in this project.
Yeah.
So yeah, so sustainability is very important, and we have factored that into the programs that we're doing by doing partnerships
Right.
with schools and individuals who are experienced in those fields that
Yeah.
will like them to transfer the skills of knowledge to our students.
What sort of collaboration are you seeking
Okay.
for right now?
So I think at the moment I am just seeking for I'll say government. I'll say I would like government individuals to have interest in what I'm doing. Individuals as well are welcome to collaborate, but my focus for now, I would say, is government, because at the moment, I know that the president is very big on empowerment. I know that the president's wife has always been very, very big on empowerment as well. But these things cannot be brought to their attention if I don't have it in motion, if I don't have things on ground for them to see, if I don't have a structure. So as I said, we just launched officially on Saturday. We're launching the driving officially on the 1st of November, which I think is tomorrow. So I'm hoping maybe by January, we would have had a solid structure on ground, students that have already graduated from one or two of our programs already, which we can then now start sending out letters to the presidency, to government officials, to our Senate representatives, our House of Reps representatives, sending out letters to them, letting them know about these programs and assuring them that whatever donation or whatever collaboration they would like to have with us is assured. It's 100%. The people are going to feel the impact. The people's lives are going to be changed permanently.
Wow. So the one thing that I see people do is they come up with a whole lot of impactful ideas. But then again, if you go to their social media platforms, these things are not reflecting on their platforms. So I think you need to have you thought about how to collaborate the media with what you do? Everything you're doing should reflect on your social media. I mean, whatever you say right now, we want to see. People just want to see what have you done? What are you trying to say? So how are you going to collaborate? Can you hear me? Can you hear me still?
It was breaking a little bit.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. You said
Okay, so I was talking about
collaboration. What am I?
with collaborating with the media. Everything you are
Yes.
doing right now should reflect on your media platforms. So how are you going to go about that?
Well, I think for starters, my event was on Saturday and today is Friday, and I'm here talking to you. So I think that also answers one of your questions when it comes to collaborating with the media, I'm sure.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's for sure. That's for sure. Then, your
Yes.
social media, for instance, a lot of people I meet, a lot of people,
Yes.
they say to me like, I'm not a media person. I don't know who can help me
Yes.
manage my platforms and all of that. You
Mm,
have the Facebook, you have the Instagram. All of these platforms must tell your stories really very well.
mm.
Have you?
Yes. Okay, so I will say I'm a media person because one of the biggest tasks I had for the late Dr. Herbert Wigwe was managing his PR, managing his media presence, his social
Right.
media, and things like that. So, to be honest, this is the first time I'm doing it for myself. I
Mm,
have always done it for other people. I've always enjoyed doing it for other people. So, I think it's kind of like I have that kind of personality. I don't know. I don't like taking pictures when I see my face on the camera, I get a bit awkward. I don't like, even this meeting, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play back because I'm like, I don't want to hear my voice. My voice is so annoying. So unfortunately, I've had to fight that character that I have
mm.
because it also reflects in my social media. Sometimes I feel weird, like, okay, I'll post something and I have to play it like 10 times because I'm like, okay, me, am I enjoying it? Are people going to, it's kind of like weird. Like I'm someone that I find it easier to, tell
Yeah.
people, oh, there's something on your face, oh, do it like this. But this is the first time I'm actually having to face the mirror at my own self and be like, okay, now I'm calling my media people. I'm like, so I've started an NGO and they're all happy for me. But, when it comes to collaborating in the media, I don't have an issue with that. It's easy for me to do that, but it's just to be honest with you, trying to overcome that awkwardness that I feel of like giving people my own details, like telling them, oh, this is what I'm doing. Can you help me tell the public? It's just a little bit weird, but I think with time, I'll definitely overcome that awkwardness, hopefully. But media collaboration is not an issue. I think I know my way around the media. I know how to, relate with them, talk to them, and build relationships with them. So I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I know it's not going to be you. You'll be fine. And
Hopefully.
finally, Antonia, getting volunteers can also be very challenging,
Mm-hmm.
people to come in, you're not really paying them. And then, what is that thing that you have that you think can keep them locked down to work with you?
Okay, so let's be honest. In Nigeria, you are paying your volunteers. That's the truth. You're
Okay.
actually paying your volunteers. Yeah, you have to because at the end of the day, okay, so well, it depends. You have your volunteers, which are your friends. If your friends are free, they can come and help you out with this and that. But in the long run, it's generally not really sustainable, especially when you're having a lot of programs and events and things you're doing. So at some point, you do have to reach out to other individuals. So what I find is that when it comes to volunteering, you find a lot of people, send me messages. I'll say part of the public, I'll say people that I wouldn't say are genuinely like well off individuals. So they will reach out to me, madam, please, we want to collaborate with you, we want to be a part of it, which is the truth. They do want to be a part of that experience. Some of them want to be a part of it to experience it. Some of them would like to just take pictures and also have it on their social media. Some would like to just have an association with you so that you can remember them if any
Mm-hmm.
like job opportunity or
Mm-hmm.
something comes out. But a lot of these people, especially when you're dealing with individuals who are trying to volunteer as a means for you to be able to meet them and see their value and hoping that one day you can employ them, you have to remember that they might not have the resources such as car or transportation money to come and meet you to these places. So technically you are kind of paying your volunteers because you do need to substitute their transport, their feeding, whatever it is that even if you're not paying them per se as a staff, you still do need to give them what we call like an honorarium in NGO terms, which is just like, money for, not official payment, not a salary, but putting into consideration logistics and all those other things that you had to sacrifice coming to assist us with this. So it's you have to also factor that into whatever you're doing. So even if I have an event and even like the last event, as I said, I had an anonymous sponsor and his wife that told me, please do this in Obudu Cross River. And I did say to the sponsor that you do know that transportation, these individuals, they said, okay, no problem. I let them know this is how much I'm going to give them, because originally the plan was to give them 5,000 each. But by the time I calculated the transportation from where a lot of those people are coming, I still wanted them to have a little bit to hold, because I wanted it to be an experience. I wanted them to be happy. I wanted them to be joyful. So we had to reduce the number of people we're inviting and increase the gifts that we were giving to the individuals. So you have to be very sensitive about these things. You have to be very realistic also and you have to be very honest. If in the UK, even in the UK, there were some voluntary positions that I did, and I was still paid a certain token for what I was, so it really depends on the nature of what you're doing.
You were in the UK, they paid you?
Yeah, in the UK, like when I was in university, there was something called an airport greeter. So it was kind of a volunteer role. You had to, go to the airport and welcome the new students coming in, international students. And it was paid.
Okay.
They will pay you, yeah. So it was technically a voluntary role, but they wouldn't call it a salary. But so sometimes it happens. It happens. You have to be realistic. True. And if people say, oh, why are you paying? Because I find in Nigeria, a lot of education has to go. You have to be willing to educate people, a lot of times, So, I mean, for example, when I started the NGO for the late Herbert Wigwe, people were telling me, why are you giving and posting that you're giving? So you will have people that would not see sense in what you're doing. But by the time you explain to them that if we don't post, you'll say that we didn't give, or that, you need to post, because people that give you money, people that support you, they need to see what you're using these funds for. They need to know, like, I don't even know how this woman tried, or I don't even think the money I gave her is enough, So
yeah.
So yeah, But yeah, so this education would volunteer, if people say, oh, why are you paying your volunteers? Like, come on, we're in Nigeria. A lot of people are finding it really difficult. A lot of people are finding it very hard, even though people volunteer because of the goodness of their hearts, because they want to give back. If you have that extra cash to help them out with their transportation, do it. It doesn't take anything out of you.
Wow, nice. Antonia, what are we looking forward to this Christmas?
What are we looking forward to this Christmas? Me, I want to go and chill at the ranch, or Obudu Ranch. I want to have like the bonfire going, put my fish on a stick or my marshmallows on a stick and light it on the fire, watch the sunlight, watch the stars in the sky. Like, even the sunset is so beautiful there. Like, I'm not a ambassador for Obudu, but I'm an indigene. And, the more the merrier. We want more people coming, but that's where I'm going to be this Christmas.
I mean, you can't be thinking about yourself alone this time around. You're just a mother of that community right now. I mean, that community, right? I'm speaking on behalf of the community right now. They are asking me to ask you, what are we looking forward to this Christmas?
No, we'll eat jollof, we'll drink Coke, we'll drink Fanta, we'll laugh, we'll gist, we'll dance, but we also have to welcome other people, really want to have people from other parts of the state come down to Obudu Ranch. It's a beautiful place, and, we have to also encourage the government. I think if people start coming, the government will know, okay, this place, people are, but yeah, so that's where I'll be this Christmas by the grace of God.
Thank you so very much, Antonia, for your time.
Thank you for your time.